Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Landry. I'm the second ward councilman. I'm going to chair the Board of Public Safety meeting today in the absence of the mayor. So this is the Glens Falls Board of Public Safety, Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 meeting. Do we have a quorum? We obviously do. I'd like to call the meeting to order at this time and offer anyone in the general public an opportunity to speak if they'd like to. If you could come forward to the table so that we can hear you, that would be nice for us.
Yeah, on all matters or?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And where should I stand?
Maybe right over here if you could.
That way you get on TV.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
great.
Wave to your fans.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I wanted to speak today. My name is Melissa Seal. I'm speaking to you on many fronts. This is in regards to Hoffman's Car Wash proposal coming in across Adirondack Car Wash on Broad Street. So I'm speaking as the wife of the owner of Adirondack Car Wash, to be transparent. I'm speaking as a business owner. I own Well Child on 92 Broad Street, which is a pediatric behavioral health business. We provide pediatric mental health services for kids in Warren and Washington County. I'm also the executive director of the Well Child Foundation, a nonprofit in the area, working with Assemblywoman Carrie Wormer to push legislation to improve mental health issues for Warren and Washington County as well. And speaking on all those different fronts, first off, as the wife of the man that's owned Adirondack Car Wash for 30 plus years and has been part of this community for that long, also being established community members. We renovated the house next to Crandall Park. We're vested here. Glens Falls is our home. We love it here. We're involved in a multitude of different ways. And when we found out this was happening, my husband was aware of Tom Hoffman and Hoffman's Car Wash. He is known to do this, to put his car wash across from smaller car washes and to keep pushing his business and growing his empire. But that being put aside, my other concerns lie with the community, the city of Glens Falls. We have traffic issues that are already starting to build on Broad Street. I have to drop my son off from school, so I have to come back that way in the morning, and there's quite a bit of traffic. I've also been an ER nurse in the past, prior to me being a psychiatric provider, and ambulances, access to the hospital is so important. And the safety studies in regards to the traffic routes that were tested, it was done on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and on a Saturday, which isn't really good information to go by in regards to traffic and the congestion that a car wash like Hoffman's that runs cars in and out, 150 and more, would actually impede on the traffic, increasing traffic in the area. And that's a concern not only to me, for my business, which is further down the street, for my patients getting here, but for the hospital as well. I've been a board member before. I served on the Lake George School Board. I've been on the other side of people yelling at me and saying, what are you thinking? And having the information. There's been many times though on the Lake George School Board where we've made a decision and we reversed it when we listened to the community and heard the concerns and realized that we may not have all the information necessary to make a good decision. And I'm asking you to do the same at this time. Although business to our community is important, if it was a business like a candy store across the street from a candy store, go at it. We can't stop businesses from coming into Glens Falls. However, when you're talking about a business that is going to dump a lot of water, because we know car washes, we know what our system does, but a bigger system like Hoffman's putting in, they say they have this reclaim system. Do you know that only 60% of the water is reclaimed, 40% more is being pushed into our systems? Okay, we have a sewer system that's compromised. On Broad Street, we have had improvements, but that drains into a sewer system that hasn't been improved. There's been leakage issues. There's been overflow into the Hudson River, brown water. That's happening now. So when we talk about, we're not stopping new businesses from coming into Glens Falls, but when you have an established car wash business, to put another one that would further stress our system doesn't make sense. And as a Glens Falls community, we have to ask ourselves, what is Hometown USA? Do we support small businesses? do we support our community members? Because that's a decision we have to make, especially in a situation like this where we have the big man coming in for no reason at all. He could put his car wash somewhere else. You can throw a stone and go to another, hit another Hoffman's car wash close by. This is going to affect a family business. This is going to affect a community member. This is going to affect a family that's been involved in this community for many years. And I want you to consider all those factors before moving forward. And I know some more people are going to speak about this, but I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking for my love of this community. I'm speaking on behalf of my husband, who I love very much, and my family. And I'm just asking you to think of everything before we move forward and approve this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I'm the one that she's talking about, the husband.
Oh, you're the husband.
So you can put a face to it. So I have
Your name, sir?
Michael Seal.
Michael.
I own the 203 Broad Street car wash location that's directly across the street from. And so I came here today, I came to the meetings as well, but my main objective here is not to stop another business from coming in. And it may seem on the outside that it's just, oh, I don't want competition coming in. It's not as much about competition, because even as Hoffman brought up at one of the other meetings, that I'm kind of a different location than him. He's going to do express exterior. I'm doing touchless washes with self-service. It's a different model. And I chose to do, well, let me finish that sentence first. So it's a different model. So it's not like putting a candy store next to a candy store like my wife was saying. It is more of, what is this going to do to the community? What is it going to do? Is it going to add anything to the community? It's going to add another car wash that's already here. Can't stop that. Anybody can put a car dealership next to a car dealership, a McDonald's next to a Burger King. That's not what it's about. But what is it going to gain? What is it going to hurt? So is the gain worse than the hurt? And that's what I think we really have to look at, is that this traffic already is so congested. Now, I put a video camera pointing at the intersection, and not even the bad intersection. That's the intersection on Western. And I have the camera with 30 to 40 clips, and I stopped clipping them after a while because it's just getting, to fill up my drives. But I wanted to present that to, when we talked to somebody about a traffic study. I didn't have the opportunity to do that because we didn't get a chance to talk to anybody about the traffic study. So the simple thing is that it's constantly stopped under the lights. So that means that the traffic light downstream from it, down by the Stewarts, is stopped. It's all the way back to the next traffic light, which is down by Romeo, and that's having it stopped all the way back to this traffic light, which means that they can't get through. So everybody's stuck under the light.
Mr. Seal, what were the hours that you were monitoring the traffic?
I monitor 24 hours.
The
I've
whole
got the camera on 24 hours. Yeah.
What did you find from your surveillance of the traffic?
Well, I'm finding the traffic stopped underneath the lights. I'm finding that it's literally congested, it's stopped. And it's not at the times that they did the reports on, too.
I agree.
Their reports are set for 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Well, we're busier, that road is busier in the morning.
Absolutely.
It's busier later in the afternoon. So, and it's busier when there's, if there's ambulances, if there's problems, if there's issues, if there's snow, if there's not, there's all these different scenarios that come into play, not just the study that they did. The study that they did is skewed because I've been in the car wash for 30 years. I build car washes. I don't know, probably a lot of people don't know that, but I build car washes all over New York State. So Hoffman is kind of like in competition with me in a sense, but I don't do it for me. I do it for others. So I'm a distributor for manufacturers. So I'll go and build, I'll go to the town meetings and I'll go build for these other locations, but they're not my locations. So I know all about, what you need to do to get these things approved. And one of them is hire a traffic study. One of them is, you hire the engineers and you do this work behind it. But keep in mind that we're hiring them for a specific purpose. We need this to get approved because we need this to show that there's not going to be an impact. So that's a skewed report. A less skewed report is if the city did it, or the town or the county did it, or they said, here's, we're gonna choose the person. Now, maybe it just happens to be that that person, they might know them or be involved with them some way or somehow, but it's a better way to do it than to just say, if you want an appraisal on your house and you say, I need my house to be $399,000 for the bank, it's pretty much gonna be close to that, if you're hiring the appraiser. If the bank hires the appraiser, it could be skewed too, because they could want to do the loan and they could want that to be, I need this loan to be here. However, a completely random appraiser has no interest in either one of them. That is a more appropriate, result, conclusion. So it's actually one of the things why I like about Zillow, because Zillow doesn't do any of that stuff. Zillow just says this house sold for this much, and this is what all the other houses sold for around it. So it doesn't have any kind of special interest in it in either direction. So back to my subject is that when I go to the town and I hired somebody to do the traffic study, I'm going to hire them to say that, not that I'm going to tell them to say something, but I'm going to tell them that we need this report to be within this range. And if it's close to that range, it's probably going to be in that range. They're not going to go, I'm paying them, I'm doing the report. So there's also things that you can leave out of reports that make it sound a lot better. There's also things you can add to the report that makes it look like they've done way more work than they did. And that's what they did in this report. And a lot of the things that they did, if you look in the detail of it, is, again, because I'm used to this, is they did a whole bunch of gibberish that most people aren't going to look at and say, what is that? I don't even understand that, okay? And what it is basically a traffic light with a straight and a turn can produce this much traffic through it in A, B, C, and D. So that's what they were doing. That's how they were doing it. So you need to find out what your traffic is. Is it A, B, C, or D? But basically, city traffic, is it rural traffic? And then you base those numbers based on that traffic light. Do you understand that that has nothing to do with what actually is at that location? It's actually happening at that traffic light. Because it's just saying that traffic light can produce this many turns and this many, goes and this many what if it says go and you can't go? Traffic light can say it can go, but it can't go because it's blocked all the way down. So the next light is blocked all the way down. So even the information on that traffic light, which is just a straight traffic light, doesn't have any turns, and that can produce way more traffic flow than this one. But that's the one that we're having the problem with. So that one is stopped and this one can't go. So even though those traffic lights say they can produce those numbers, they really can't, based on the specific, site-specific information that we're looking at. So that's why I say they're skewed. I could have, if the city wanted to do a report, or I could do a report to show that, but basically I'm troubled because my business is going to get affected by it, not because they're going to go to Hoffman's and get their car washed, and not with mine, because my car wash only needs one car in line. That's it. They require lines. They need those lines, because if they don't have a line, they're not doing cars, because they're pushing them so much faster. So my car wash only produces one car every 3 minutes in one of them, one car every 5 minutes in the other one, and then 4 minutes for each one of the bays. They're timed, and people, if they put money in there, they're going to use 4 minutes. So that's how my cars are pulling out into traffic. So if you look at the peak hours, and they said 75 cars in and 75 cars out in the peak hours, I'm doing those numbers. Pushing my cars out at one car every 5 minutes, one car every 3 minutes, and 4 cars every 4 minutes. If you do all that math, that's way more than the 150 cars during the peak hours that they're pushing through. They say they're going to push through there. So that's skewed in itself, because they're going to push 10 times more cars. When I sell a car wash to somebody, I say to them, you can take you'll do 5 times more the income through a tunnel wash than you will through a self-service or touchless wash. Okay, it's 5 times more. So that's just in a generalized location, and that's general all the way across the country, really, for that matter. But now you take these new tunnels, these express tunnels, and they're designed, that's why they're doing them. That's why they're popping up all over the place. That's why tidal waves come into New York State from Georgia. Tidal wave is, they bought the location on Quaker Road. They bought the location in South Glens Falls. I don't know if you guys know this, but they bought the location on Pizzeria Uno, where that is. They're taking that down, putting a tidal wave there. Same exact ditto location. They're buying the location 2 doors down from Hoffman's at Vickengale's place, the Suzuki. 2 doors down from Hoffman. You can throw a baseball and hit it. They're putting a location there. They looked at the 3 houses just down the street from right across the street from Dunkin' Donuts. There's 3 houses, a lot there. They looked at that to put an express tunnel there. So this is what's coming. This is what's coming. These huge conglomerates are coming in and saying, I'm going to put my footprint here because I want to be like a bank and I want to have a branch everywhere, okay? And they don't realize what it's doing to the traffic and the traffic flows in those areas. So if you want to have a car wash that's going to put, if you're the only car wash in town, put the Hoffmans over on Quaker Road. If you've ever been over that way when it's busy, they're backed up all the way down Quaker Road. That has, if I was to calculate something, I could probably give you an exact number, but I don't have that calculation right now. But if an estimation, I know that they can stack 40 cars at least throughout that, just their driveway, and then there are another 20 cars going down Route 9. So that's just that location. So they designed these car washes with 3 lanes so that they can push through more cars. So they keep more into the parking lot so that they're paid, and then they go in and they shuffle them through. So now you take a car wash that normally would have been 1 lane, 1 car, that could go through and push and I'll give you the example of this in a second, that can push 400 cars in a day, to now pushing 12 to 1,500 cars because you just put 3 lanes in. And I'll give you the example how I know this, because I also own the car wash up on Route 9, which was been closed for years. It was part of a property exchange, that's why it's not there anymore. But that location used to do 1,000 cars a day. And when I bought it, the max cars it did, max, was 600. That was the highest car count that he ever had. When I bought it, I did 1,000 cars consistently because I was there personally and I stacked the cars in the parking lot 3 cars deep. So I had 3 rows. So keep in mind, what am I doing? I'm doing 3 auto cashiers, but I was doing it myself. I was collecting from 3 lanes of traffic and saying, listen, I want you to keep going forward in the same pattern until you get to the front, and then I want you to follow that yellow Honda in. That's how I did it. Okay? They don't have to do that now. It's all computerized because the gate goes up, lets one in. Gate goes up, lets one in. So they follow in suit. So then it's all queued, and that's how they go faster because they're queued. So car wash knows they don't even need a person there to press the button. They just know that the next car is getting a super wash, the next car is getting a deluxe wash. So they just go in and they don't have to even press a button. There's a sensor that shows that the car went by and it presses it and sends it in. So the flow is huge. So you keep in mind, like I said, that's why I want you to focus on the fact that I'm not here because of competition. I'm here because it's going to be a traffic mess. And I'm worried about the ambulances getting to the hospital because everybody's going to go around into the middle lane, that 3rd lane that's returning, that could potentially turn left onto Luzerne, and they're going to stop that one up too because cars are coming the other way, cars are going around them to go around the cars waiting to get into the Hoffman site, and then an ambulance is going to come in. And the ambulance is not going to be able to get by because there's no shoulder, it's just a curb. So a car would have to literally climb up over the curb to let an ambulance go by, which means that ambulance are either going to have to anticipate that and drive around on 3rd Street or 1st Street or go around them on other roads, or hope that for the best. And in an ambulance, minutes are lives. It could be 30 seconds to a minute. It could make the difference of somebody living or dying. And that's why they need that access to get through. That's why people need to pull over to let ambulances go by. The other thing is, just in sense of the accidents that could happen based on that. Cars are used to just driving along, and all of a sudden the car stops because they deciding to get into the Hoffman line or go straight. They just slam on their brakes and stop fast because, I want to get in the line, but maybe I don't. And they pull back over, and then you're going to have an accident there. And that's going to be a continuous thing moving forward. I just had an accident, not me, a 18-wheeler just cut the corner at the Broad Street, Western Main Street location. They just cut the corner, and they took out all of the lights on that corner. The signal lights that say for crosswalks, both crosswalks in both directions, and the light. So the police came, they talked to me, and I said, I have a video for the whole thing, because I actually have a video right on that corner. So, because the guy actually said he didn't even know he hit anything, the 18-wheeler. So I was talking to the police, I said, what issues do you have? We're here going to this public safety meeting, and, I want to ask you some questions. And he point blank told me, I avoid this area. And I said, why? And he said, because everybody gets mad at me because I don't ticket people. And I said, what do you mean you don't ticket people? You're supposed to ticket people. He goes, if you're stuck under a light, I'm supposed to give you a ticket. And he goes, and what do you think that's going to do to, and what do you think it's going to do to traffic? I got to figure out how to pull this guy over in all this traffic. And where am I going to put him? On the side of the road? Am I going to make him pull into Walgreens? That's what the police officer said. He avoids the area during the rush hours, rush times. So, these are things that just come into play. I have, one of my employees here, he's witnesses this traffic all the time. He witnesses it not just because he's staring at it, but because he's hearing the horns honking. When you hear a horn honk, you think, is there an accident? You look over, and that's why, oh, the traffic. And then you hear people screaming at other people, yelling at them, move it, you blah, 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 And then, you look over, what's going on? Is it a fight? So you look over and you see what's going on, and that's what it is. Traffic is stopped under the lights, and people can't turn left or right, or go straight for that matter. So these are the big issues with traffic, and I think this is the right avenue for this, is the public safety. I'm not sure if you guys dealt with Warren County yet. I did make Warren County, gave at least a little bit of notice, because it affects Warren County as well. Because Warren County is sending, this Glens Falls Hospital, this is all of Warren County goes to Glens Falls Hospital, not just Warren County, but Elizabeth County. They're all coming down to Glens Falls Hospital. Glens Falls Hospital is, Melissa, can you correct me, what's the trauma center?
Yeah,
What level?
we're a regional, we actually helicopter people to level 1 regional
Level
trauma
1.
center, but we're the main hub that sends people out.
And then the next level is going down to Albany.
We service people in
So
Vermont.
we're the top trauma center for all of the counties and around this area. So anything worse goes down to Albany. So you can see this is a busy center. They're taking people in from all over the place. So those are some of the concern about the traffic. And there's also this issue too. And I wanted to just bring this to your attention that for years I have kept this car wash at a certain level because, and I know this has nothing to do with it, but because it was because of the sewer and not the water. The water, there's plenty of water in Glens Falls, and if you didn't have enough water, you put storage tanks. So there's never an issue with water, but getting rid of the water is a big issue. So I also own a house in Glens Falls, own other businesses in Glens Falls, and the issue with water is, if everybody lives here, that you get brown water. When there's heavy flow, you get brown water. When they flush the hydrants, you get brown water or black water. And the system the reason for that is because most of the systems are 100 years old. They're just old pipes. And they've replaced the pipes on the Broad Street corridor. They did. And I remember that, right? But I still had vacuum trucks sucking out water out of the sewer systems because of such heavy flow, because there's sediment coming from the car washes. The sediment, the faster you push water, the more the sediment travels farther. So if you can picture a pebble, okay, a pea-sized pebble, and I put it into a flow that's a two-inch line of water that's just flowing down through, and I drop that pebble in there, it's probably going to make it to about this first chair before it stops and sits there, okay? If I take that pebble and cut it in half, it's going to go all the way down, might make it to the elevator. If I drop that in half again, it's going to make it 3 times longer than that. But it's going to drop out. It's going to keep dropping. As far as the water gets less turbulent, it drops. So the more turbulent the water is, the faster and bigger items will move down it, okay? Now, it also comes the opposite with that sometimes too. If it's really big, it'll drop out fast too. But in most cases, it's the small stuff that we're worried about, the stuff that builds up, and becomes solid, almost like cement after a while. So now, this water that's going down through the system is going into the 100-year-old pipes, the 60-year-old pipes, the pipes that we're having the issues with. That's where it's going. They haven't replaced all the pipes all the way to the sewer system, which you know where that is. That's all the way down Warren Street. So that's the bigger issue with the water. I know that's not what we're here for, but that's going to be blowouts, because if you take let's use a pressure washer. You take a pressure washer or a hose. Everybody knows a hose, a 3/4 inch hose that you use on a garden hose, and you take the end off the hose and you turn it on full bore, and don't touch the end of it. Just put it on full bore. It might make it to the table from here. Might make it to the table depending on the town's water pressure. Okay. What if you put a nozzle on that? How far can I push that? I can probably put a nozzle on it, I can make it to the elevator if I put the right nozzle on that. So it's creating pressure, okay? And that pressure is what blows things out. So now you're pushing all this volume down to a little tiny pipe that's creating more pressure. And that could create pressure in a power washer up to 3,000 pounds. Take a power washer, take the tip out of it, you don't have 3,000 pounds, you might be lucky to get 100 or 200. So that's the bigger issue that we have with that. Now that's gonna affect public safety because they're gonna blow water lines out, and then you're gonna be dealing with that issue, where they're gonna cut holes in the roads, and you're gonna, set up barriers and try to repair them as quickly as possible. And like my house, they cut into the road and they went down and they found the problem where it was plugged and leaked and tipped the wrong way. So with more water pressure, it gets by that tip. But they have to service my house, because I'm at the end of the system, every single month. They have to come and suck that line out, because if they don't, it plugs. So that's our Glens Falls system, and that's what we're putting all this extra water into. And that's why I didn't do this, which is what I just went down and got a permit for, just in case it ever goes to this, because now I'm kind of forced to go take this to the next level. You see, I don't want to unflip this, but I'll stay behind it.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm Frank Colombo, representing Hoffman's. I'm just gonna ask, like, what this board is for, because it seems like the
Yeah,
items that we're talking about are.
We have to.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the water. I understand, that's why I said it.
If you move off the water issue, because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I
Trying
moved
to
off
get
the
by.
water. That's why I moved off the water.
Remember
So-
another thing as
Safety.
well. This is not a legislative board. This is an advisory board. So
Yeah.
this is part of that step-by-step process.
Right.
So it doesn't end here. It eventually ends up on the table of the common council. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that.
Yes.
But as long as what we're gonna talk about here is traffic.
Traffic
I'll-
related.
Yeah, traffic related, please.
So this is the location right now, and what I could have, would have, should have done potentially for a long time to increase my income is to do exactly what they're doing, is change over to the express wash, and that's what this is doing. So you can see the number of cars that I fit into the parking lot to get into the single tunnel to pump them through every 30 seconds, because that's how they come out, every 30 seconds. So I put 3 traffic things in, just like Hoffman's has. I can pull all those cars into the parking lot and send them through just as fast as they're gonna put them through, which is gonna put all that traffic back out into this corner. And vacuums will go right in here, and they pull into the vacuums and pull out onto this road. So the entrance and exit would be onto this road. So I have 1, 2, 3, all the curb cut all the way down through here and this. All those entrances and exits coming out of there. So you can see that flow through mine is gonna be a lot easier and better than going through Hoffman's where they have 1 entrance and exit. But I'm all permitted for this. I don't need to go through anybody. I'm all permitted, I can just start.
Are you gonna
So-
do this?
What's that?
Are you gonna do this?
Well, I think the only thing, if Hoffman's goes in, I have to do this to stay competitive. I have to. So that's what's coming down the line. So they brought up in the last meeting, is there anybody else that's doing anything that's gonna affect traffic? Yes, here it is. And like I said, if and when, if they decide to go down to the 3 houses down a few blocks down, that's gonna be a whole nother set of issues going on. Forget about the water even, because that's not what this is about, that's gonna be the traffic too. But the traffic's gonna be better on that side than it will be over here. So that's what we're dealing with right now.
Okay.
And I just want everybody to take all of that into consideration before they make a decision, because the town
Except for the
board
water.
has made, except for the water.
Except for the water.
Except for the
Water.
water. But the town board has made the determination that they've approved it with the
You mean
condition
you mean the planning?
Planning board. The
The
You
planning
mean
board.
the planning?
planning board,
Planning.
that you approve it.
Were you
So-
there for that?
Yeah. No, I wasn't at that
The
meeting. No, I
first,
was
the
at
first meeting, yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
They heard you?
We were at the, no, they wouldn't let us speak on the first one, and then we didn't know about the second one, partially through fault of our own, I guess we missed the date.
No, the second one they weren't at, it was the third one that they weren't.
Yeah,
They stayed on the agenda for 3 months.
Yeah.
yeah,
They were.
They were here for 3 months and a
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I want to thank you guys for listening to us today.
Yeah,
Like I
thank
said,
you.
I've been
Very
on the
good.
board before, I've been through this, but thank you for giving us the time to speak.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information, thank you.
Is there anybody else from the public that wants to talk on this
I do.
topic? Well, or, okay, talk, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So, just to identify myself, I know some of you. Good to see you again. My name is Tucker Stankliff. I do own a business here in the city of Glens Falls, and I travel a lot for my job, running from place to place, and quite frankly, that requires me to get to I-87, which requires me to go by the hospital, and requires, because I'm right here at 100 Glen Street, in the city of Glens Falls, and I have to get to I-87. I often have a very difficult time, and have to try to plan my day around the bottleneck of traffic that comes through that corridor, especially around the time, not only that the Glens Falls Hospital is dealing with some sort of shift change, but also the mill is dealing with a shift change. So, I took a look at this traffic and safety report, because that's my primary concern. And I do have some issues that first of all, I think Mr. Seal highlighted a lot of really important issues, so I'm not going to reiterate those, and I concur wholeheartedly with everything that he said. The traffic report that was submitted here is flawed. I'm trying to advocate here as a downtown businessman and not in my lawyer hat so much, but I can't help it. Okay, Mr. Seidel's laughing at me, but I can't help but say that this report is flawed because it appears to be based on not Glens Falls. It's based on an undisclosed, as far as I can tell, similar Hoffman's site or location. That is a critical flaw. The trip generation summary in table 1 that supposedly says there's enters of 79 and exit of 79 is based on, quote, similar Hoffman car wash. I love Glens Falls. Glens Falls is a very unique community, and this particular location is very unique for all the reasons that Mr. Seal said, and the reasons that I've stated with regards to the importance of that corridor for the Glens Falls Hospital. It serves the greater Glens Falls region and not just the city of Glens Falls. This particular report doesn't take into the specifics of Glens Falls, and the scope of this report is limited to the extent that it does not consider all of the traffic impacts beyond that one little intersection. This is a very unique community and a very unique corridor, and really the lifeline of a lot of traffic, and the lifeline, as Mr. Seal said, for some people's lives. So to that extent, I would ask that this board, this review board, and I do confess this is my first time before this committee, and I don't understand all of your processes and procedures, but I do understand, lawyer hat, some processes and procedures, and one of those is called SECRET, the State Environmental Quality Review. It looks as if from the planning board meeting minutes that they conditionally approved the project based upon, or subject to, this committee and I think the sewer committee or whatever review. But I have a question. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask questions. Lawyers do that. Was this board coordinated in its secret review with the planning board?
Excuse me, are we what?
I
Was
don't
there
know
any
what
secret
that is.
review done
I
here?
have no idea
They
what
don't
that
see
is.
secret.
Okay,
at
right,
this
that's a
point.
problem.
They don't normally ever see
Right.
secret at this board.
Yeah, this is the
Do they
first time,
have-
I've been on the board about
Secret's
2.5
only
years.
usually in front of planning board and common council.
Right,
But
to the
never-
extent that, here's my problem that I have, to the extent that the planning board gave it approval before this committee ever met and didn't share with it its responsibility, secret review, the State Environmental Quality Review Act,
Environment impact.
has to have traffic as part of that environmental review. So to abdicate its responsibilities to this board, while supposedly already approving it, is putting the cart before the horse. And this committee should send back to the planning board for the purpose of a united secret review based on this committee's report. This should not go to the town council without your opinions being subjected back to the planning board, so that the planning board can issue an approval or a denial based on your input. Otherwise, what are you doing here? If they've already granted the approval.
What is the CQ, how does it relate to traffic?
Well, state environmental quality review is, traffic has
As
to
part
be
of-
considered,
part of that.
absolutely, absolutely. And if this board hasn't done its own secret review
Yeah.
in the process in which the planning board has dumped this on you, then it would be my opinion, if it ever came to it, that that was an illegal process, subject to, our 78 proceeding. Again, I'm not here in that capacity. I can't help separate myself from it because I'm here to advocate on behalf of other business owners in the downtown Glens Falls area, that this traffic committee owes a responsibility to the planning board directly and back to the planning board to conduct a more thorough review, because this traffic report is faulty. It doesn't take into the unique characteristics of the city of Glens Falls. And as far as I can tell, unless it's in a footnote somewhere or in a different report, I don't know what similar Hoffman car wash they're talking to. Oneida, Buffalo, Syracuse.
It's in here somewhere, excuse me.
Okay.
And I am looking for it, because
Well,
I know that I
okay.
did read it.
But even
Oh,
so,
yeah.
only on-
Yes.
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman, we'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
happy to answer those questions when we
Okay.
have our chance.
Okay.
But
But
let me
so you
ask
think that he-
has there been any other people, business owners come to you?
Sorry.
That are on this
No, no.
I've heard a
board?
lot, but
That
I'm
have-
sorry, I can't hear you when you're talking.
Has there been any other business owners come to you that you know of and spoke about their concerns for this car wash going in and the traffic flow? Any other business?
No, I have not conducted my own independent study,
Okay,
because
that's what I'm asking.
quite frankly, I think that's what the public,
Correct.
these types of proceedings are for. And not only at this level, but at the planning board level. But my objection, to use the words, is that I don't think this committee should just pass on it without sending it back to the planning board with your opinions and or request for further studies. Now, if it's Oneana or whatever it is, Oneana is not Glens Falls. Do you know as you sit here what that traffic pattern looks like in Oneana?
No.
Do you know how close it is to a hospital? Do you know how close it is to another major employer in the community like the Finch Prime? Do you know what the traffic patterns are on a Friday? I mean, they're just giving you generic reports here. And I would submit for this review is completely insufficient. And ask that you send it back to the planning board. If they happen to answer your questions upon a more thorough study, a more particular study, then fine. I agree with Mr. Seal. I mean, he's not here to stop a business. We're here to make sure that the traffic is safe for all of us in this community. I'm not getting into any water issues, because I did have a lot of those, and I know that's not appropriate here.
No.
But that's my major objection. I just don't think that this report is based on data that is specific to our community and needs to be sent back for further review.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? In regards to the, yes, sir. You can get your name and address, please?
Sure. I'm Brian Oliva.
You're
Brian Oliva.
Oliva?
Oliva. O-L-I-V-A.
Thank you.
Address, is that what you said?
No.
So I work at the car wash, right around the car wash.
Okay.
I mean, the traffic there is just, it's outstanding. You know, I mean, I've taken videos, I've taken pictures. You guys wanna see them, I'd be more than happy to. I mean, it's almost common sense that that corridor is an absolute nightmare most of the time. Adding more cars probably isn't a good thing, but, you know, I mean, business is business, obviously. I mean, I hear the honking, and there are people that'll just sit under the green light, red light, won't turn. I can't believe there's not an accident every 30 minutes there. Coming out of Steve's place, that's not easy, especially making a left. Most times of the days, you know, regardless of peak time. Again, relying on the Oneonta traffic count doesn't quite seem right, but I'm guessing you guys have probably all gone down that corridor and can figure out your own traffic count most of the time, and
I live there.
how is it?
Yeah.
Not easy, right?
I'll wait for our discussion.
And going by the Dunkin' Donuts down there, I mean, how many people are just sitting out in the road in Dunkin' Donuts? It's blocking, even the Wendy's and Glens, I mean, you can't stop people from just sitting in the middle of the road and making wrong decisions. Pumping out a bunch of cars at a rapid rate, I can't see that's gonna be a bonus, but, it's up to studies and everything like that, and see what it is, so.
Okay.
I work there every day, 6 days a week, I see good, bad, even, rain days, not rain days, off days. It's not pretty. I can promise you that it's not pretty. And the
Thank you.
influx of more business, I don't know how that's gonna help, but.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Anyone else?
Please.
If not, in public comment, we'll shift gears. Ellen, would you like to speak?
Oh, I'm not first on the agenda, but I'll take it.
You're welcome.
The basis is we're just concerned about climate warming and the impact on our community down the road. We sort of live in a bubble here. We're not really being hurt by climate warming as drastically as other areas of the country.
Excuse me, you are whom?
Diane Collins,
And you are talking regarding what here?
the Community Climate Action Walk on May 18th. I think it's on your agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah. it's on the agenda.
Okay.
Chip asked me to come. I didn't hear that as just a possibility. In any case, it's on the list as an interfaith climate action walk because I go to the UU Church and our social action committee along with St. Mary's Social Justice Ministry.
Yes,
Decided we'd like to have a walk. Just engaging people's interest in taking action, joining groups that are already here that are doing things around climate education and participating in programs that will mitigate climate warming in our area. So it's our UU Church, the St. Mary's Church, and North Country Earth Action, which is involved in other things. So Chip asked me to come just to let you know that we do have the certificate of insurance, and we do have $250, which is, for me, a new fee that the city's charging to organize
Yes, it
walks.
is.
I've done a couple, and we didn't have that before. But we did get a large donation from the company that's offering the community hydro project, Northern Power and Light.
Thank you.
Gave us a donation for the event. And we have a variety of speakers. They're gonna be speaking. They're gonna have a table with the option of signing on.
Great.
For example, Queensbury Climate Smart Community will have a table with some of their initiatives and how people can participate. The purpose of the walk is to offer opportunities for people to be part of the action.
Great.
We'll have a poetry reading, some singing, and different speakers. One will talk about the Albany climate legislature that's going on now, and people can sign petitions. It will all be non-commercial and grassroots.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
I think we've got everything. Your packet
Maybe,
is complete.
Chip wanted you to ask if you had any safety concerns. We are gonna be able to have maybe 10 walking guards. It'll be down the sidewalk from City Park to Crandall Park.
I believe you would need more.
More than 10, we'll have as many as
Absolutely.
you
You need somebody
recommend.
on every corner. Every corner needs to have a volunteer on it.
Every street, so
Oh,
I'll
where are you?
Every
where are you
street.
walking?
It'll be the sidewalks from
City
City
Park.
Park to
Oh,
Crandall
I see.
Park.
Yeah.
Just on Glen.
Why don't we do this? Because we
We'll
can
address
discuss
it
that.
when we
We'll
get to
discuss
it.
that when we get to the.
Yes,
Yeah.
And
Jim,
let
that's
you know
21.
how many guards.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll have that
Yeah.
discussion with you.
I won't have a number for you, but I can tell you every street needs some.
If there's other things, you can let me know.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, we'll put a resolution in and we'll give it to you.
We're asking the new bus arrangement if they might provide a bus to take people who might not be able to walk from City Park to Crandall Park in one of their new buses. So that'll be a marketing opportunity for more people to take buses too, just out of curiosity. Because I think the planner from Warren County said that that arrangement with that new bus company is probably the most significant climate action that Warren County has taken, if it minimizes car traffic.
Good,
I think that's the long-term goal for improving the whole bus system.
okay.
Thank you.
That was all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you.
Any-
Landry,
yes.
Just, you're good, Diane, I just said back to the first one. Just so you guys know, we talked to Aaron Frankenfeld from AGFTC. He said that he could have this study peer reviewed by another engineering firm if you wanted to have that done. It would take about a month, but they can look at, have a second engineering firm take a look and see if they come to the same conclusion as,
Yeah.
it's just something else.
When we get to that resolution, let's talk about that.
Is this something, oh, you're talking about something else?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
yes,
related.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, anyone else?
No.
I think that's about it. All right, let's move along with the resolutions before it's tomorrow. Okay, in your packet, resolution number 3 is a resolution approving the minutes of the December 12th, 2023 special meeting, the December 13th, 2024, that can be right, regular meeting,
Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
23,
Yeah.
23, and the January 18th, 2024 special meeting of the Glens Board of Public Safety. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 4, resolution to approve the 50th annual City of Glens Falls Band Summer Concerts in the Park Series. Concerts will be held on July 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th, and August 5th, 12th, 19th, with performances beginning at 6:30 p.m. and lasting until 9 p.m. in the City Park Bandstand. Event organizers estimate that the attendance would be up to 250 people per show and is free to the public.
I'll move that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this is retroactively, so it's already happened, but it was approved by the mayor. Resolution retroactively approved of the 34th annual Adirondack Shamrock Festival, a 5-mile run race which will take place in the city of Glens Falls and extended to neighboring Queensbury as well. The race will be held on March 24th, 2024 from 11 a.m. ending around 1 p.m. Maps of the course are attached in our packets, as well as a certificate of insurance. And as in previous years, volunteers will help direct participants, and city police have asked to keep an eye on the event with a nod towards participants and spectators' safety.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Okay,
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, resolution number 4, resolution of the Board of Public Safety.
Do you want to have them present?
I'll do it again.
Oh, after, okay.
Okay.
Resolution that the Board of Public Safety hereby submits the following advisory opinion to the City of Glens Falls Planning Board, that they should look in favor of the proposed Hoffman's Car Wash project located at 194 Broad Street as presented on the 13th of February 2024 meeting. This will be included as a separate packet due to the size of the study, so we have that. I'm going to ask you to come make a presentation, if you would.
May I, excuse me?
Yes.
No, I would, and I may be jumping the gun, but I would ask that we have a separate peer review on this, sir. I would like our traffic study folks to do a separate review on this, so we would have a more concise all the way around.
If I may, I'm not gonna.
No,
Okay.
go right ahead.
But I am going to point out some of the things that were said that were not accurate, that may help people
And I'll
understand
allow
what
you,
that.
I'll allow you to do that.
Okay.
if you don't.
Uh,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
certainly, but
good.
I believe I still will request that. Go ahead. No,
No,
we
no.
did not.
Well, why
Planning board did.
The planning board,
is that what this 13th refers to?
this came from the planning board to us,
Yep.
asking
Came
us
from
They
the
asked
planning
you
board.
for your favorable opinion.
The
Right.
planning board's asking us.
us,
Right.
Yes, for
yes.
your advisory opinion regarding the
Well, the way
traffic.
it's worded, I wasn't sure.
Right.
Planning board's asking us,
For a favorable opinion,
and
correct.
we haven't reviewed it.
Correct.
No, we have not.
This is
the
your
first
review
we've
right
seen
here,
it.
yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
I'll try to be quick, but there was a lot said that was not interpreted accurately out of the report. The first thing is about this being done with a mind towards Glens Falls. The table 1 that Mr. Stancliffe referred to, it's right here. The standard methodology for doing a traffic study is to use the Institute of Transportation Engineers for developing and using the codes that are for an automated car wash. And if anyone has the report in front of them, I'm not sure who does, but on page 4 is table 1. And what the Institute of Transportation Engineers developed for a car wash is entering traffic 39, exiting traffic, total traffic 78 during the peak PM hour. The reason that Hoffman's used a similar Hoffman car wash is because they wanted to project the more worst case scenario based on their known traffic generation. So the report was done, just so you know. I'm Frank Colombo, landscape architect with CT Mail Associates, and I was the principal site design manager. VHB was the traffic engineer. They're one of the well-respected traffic engineers in the area. They're basically, VHB and Creighton Manning are two of the primary ones that do the traffic studies. So in order to project the more conservative approach, they use traffic data information that they have already done on many other Hoffmans. So it was not particularly just Oneonta. All the traffic studies that they have done, they know that during the peak hour, and that's why they use the numbers here, 79 entering, 79 exiting, and 158. So they were not trying to say what was best for them. If they wanted to do that, they could have stopped with the ITE and reflected a lesser volume of traffic going through. So the connotation that was applied there was that we were trying to doctor the numbers to make it look like we had less of an impact. We actually, on every project, I've done many of these for Hoffman's, on every project they use the more conservative numbers to project the higher impact. In doing so, the resulting data, and this is, so the data was collected at that site. So it was not taking a traffic study from Oneonta and going here. The counts were done throughout the day at the site. At that point in time, every individual site has a specific peak hour traffic. The majority of them, the way that it used to be done was that you'd go out and you'd do counts between 4 and 7 p.m. on a weeknight, and also on the weekend, because the weekend traffic is different than the weeknight traffic. But you try to find the more, the worst case scenario, and then you apply it directly. In this particular situation, it has an anomaly with it, which relates to the hospital. So the peak hour traffic on that route is much earlier than in some other locations because of the flow out from the shifts that end, I'm presuming, at 3 o'clock. All that was covered in this traffic study. To come to the results that showed in the worst case scenario that the levels of service were at so we study a few things. The intersection, and you know the primary intersection that is right there. The site entrance, the other intersection on the spur, which was right here, all right? And then they look at the other intersections down the road and follow New York State DOT standards for when your generation, how far that goes. If you are not increasing those by over 100 vehicle trips, they don't ask you to go and review those. So everything that was done using standard methodologies and applying worst case scenarios to it. So if anything, what was characterized was we were showing that it wasn't bad. What we were doing is the exact opposite. We were showing the worst case. In the table that shows the levels of service, those A's and B's and C's and D's, F is a failure. The worst of any of these, you see a lot of B's and C's, but it's also comparing the existing. We do not just disagree that there are times when that intersection is backed up, specifically at that 3 o'clock time frame. And at the, with that, there's still the worst projections are a C intersection. There are intersections in many places that are operating at a D or an F. You may have seen, and I understand you live in the area, so I'm happy to hear your comments in a moment. But everyone thinks the one that they drive through is the absolute worst. There are many things throughout the Capital District where they are at F. They are failure. You don't move through the intersections. This study relates to this project in this location. So what they were saying was not accurate and not representative of how we had done things. The Quaker Road backup. So yes, there will be Quaker Road backup. One reason that there's a Quaker Road backup is people want to get that snow and ice and everything off of, or the salt off their cars. But the reason that it backs up on Quaker Road is because there's a big, wide shoulder there. They can feel safe in that line. That's one of the reasons they do it. When we also presented this to the town of Queensbury on another project, that issue came up. At the time when they were saying, oh, it's all backed up, Tidal Wave had taken over another and had been closed because they couldn't get it open and operated. So all the flow that would normally go to that nearest, nearby other car wash was now still going to Hoffman.
Can I say just
Yes.
one thing?
Yes.
One thing that you're not saying is that Hoffman's went to a $32 a month, you can come every day and wash your car.
Yes.
That completely made the flow of traffic much more of an increase.
Right.
So we haven't thrown that into the mix.
No, it's already baked in, because that's why we used the numbers from similar Hoffman sites, because they all
I don't know
have
about
that.
other
standard.
Hoffman sites.
Where
I'm
does
talking
that
about-
tell us that in here?
That's what is represented in the trip generation. So whatever people come for, they come in that volume. So what you're saying is more people use it more often because they have
Right.
the unlimited. But that unlimited is what is represented in that 79 and 79, 79 in, 79 out. We also, and the planning board did address many of these items. And I apologize that I'm going out at length here.
I apologize, but we're not the planning board.
Well-
We weren't at that meeting.
I understand.
You're presenting to us.
I understand, but also the people that came and represented things had the ability to go to the planning board and give their public comment and did not.
Oh, we can't.
Instead, they came here.
We can't
That's a
speak for the
moot point.
But what I'm
planning board.
pointing out,
Yes.
they made it sound like the planning board didn't address this.
Well,
The
whether
planning
they
board
did or
did, the planning board did review this. And one of the things that we pointed out was the fact that we showed, the planning board asked, how many cars can we fit on site? So we showed what that is. It's approximately 38 that can sit on site. So because we want to create as much capacity on site to avoid those things like being out in the road.
And there's no shoulder.
Right. The other thing
That's
that they,
another factor.
so Hoffman's has many sites. What happens at the roads that have no shoulders? People do not back up. That's why I was making the point about Quaker Road. Quaker Road has a shoulder that they feel safe in.
I don't agree with you.
Well, we have many sites.
And we haven't even done this. This is before you even get to do this. You're gonna have cars backing up,
Well,
even more.
The person that pulls up
I don't
is.
care about Oneana.
No,
I care about Glens.
that's why, I think that they have really mistakenly represented what they were saying.
Who?
The people that spoke and
I
said that we
lived
were
there.
using Oneonta.
I lived there.
What I'm telling you is we used numbers from all of the similar Hoffmans because it's a higher amount of traffic.
You're also going by a 2013
2001.
New York State, 2013 New York State traffic study that showed 9,000 cars. This is 2024.
They apply, all the traffic study applies background growth, so the numbers that they have, they apply that from the state of when the state gives that volume. Then they apply a background growth since that time to come up with a number. But more importantly, they did the actual counts throughout the day to find the peak periods.
Why didn't they do the morning?
The morning, they did do the times, but the morning volumes weren't, the morning peak hour, they analyzed the peak hours, right? Those are the
Yeah.
worst cases. In the morning, the peak hour is before they're even open.
Before they're even open?
Right.
That's busy.
No.
In the morning.
That's not true.
Wait a minute.
Not true at all.
Wait a minute. That's busy in the morning, most of the morning,
The,
and into the
but
afternoon.
the peak hour.
You're missing what's going, you've
No,
got
we-
tractor trailers, you've gotta know what goes down that road.
And what,
You've got all kinds of log trucks. The lights are not in sync. This stops, this one goes green, there's a backup where Big Cross School gets out, there's another backup going to split to the hospital. This is the domino effect.
and all of that
right?
information was taken into consideration in the traffic
But
study.
the planning board doesn't think about what the Board of Public Safety does and what we have to consider.
Look, I'm just pointing out
They-
that
they've
this
done what they
information
said.
was provided, and people had the chance to talk about it there, and they did not come out, and the planning board did review this, and then they knew that this was coming to here. I'm just trying to point out that there was a lot of stuff that was represented which is not accurate
Okay,
in terms of the report.
thank
I
you.
have a quick question, to solidify something in my mind. Could you please show me, the yellow is the building,
Yes,
okay, Broad Street is to my left,
here.
Broad Street. So the traffic is going to come in where? Where's the driveway?
Traffic comes in right here.
Okay, and it's going to go where?
They come in, they come through here.
Right.
These are
That's where the three queues are to,
Yes,
then, okay?
that's where the three
And then it's going where?
Then they come through,
And they go there.
Come
And
out
then
here.
where do they exit?
they exit right.
Right back out there, onto Broad Street.
Yes.
So what are we going to do? Quick, just for my peace of mind, please. What are we gonna do? Okay, the cars are coming out. They're gonna then barrel left, then they're gonna, kind of curve around there. You got somebody in the front of that line that wants to turn left. You've got traffic backed up, and no one is gonna let you out. And then you've got, how many cars can fit there? 1, 2, 3, 4, say 8 cars? What are you gonna do with those backed up cars coming out of that car wash?
The traffic study showed that the average delay of making a left-hand turn out is 16 seconds.
I don't believe that
Oh,
traffic
that's-
study.
I don't buy that.
On Broad
I don't
Street?
believe that.
No.
I'm sorry, sir, and I mean no disrespect. I mean no disrespect to you, the Hoffman family, no
No.
disrespect whatsoever,
That's
sir.
right.
And that's not why I asked for a different peer review. Nothing to do with that I distrust you, or whatever was implied. But I am curious because I do live on the Quaker Road side of town. I do go to the Quaker Road Hoffman Car Wash. I do know how the cars come out. I do know how they back up trying to get on Quaker Road. So my question is, truly, what are they going to do? Where are you going to put those cars if someone is trying to turn left? You've got incoming traffic, outgoing traffic. People are waiting to go right, they're waiting to go left. The cars are backing up. You can only funnel so many through. You're gonna have a backup here coming in and a backup trying to get out. That's my, as a board of safety, public safety, that is my biggest question. What are they going to do with the traffic?
So, the traffic study showed the same levels of service, right, so it's in there. But one of the things that we talked to the planning board about, we've shown the plan as it was when this traffic study was done, okay? But one of the things we talked about with the planning board is that we can actually make this a double exit out. And that, I think Ethan actually said that during the meeting. So that you would have a left hand, but the right hand turns would be able to have a lane dedicated to get out. So that's one mitigation measure that gets them out quicker to, because the lefts, we're all in agreement, the lefts are going to take more to get out. We can disagree about the timing.
No, I'm just,
but,
yes.
Can I say
But I purposely, just so you know, I went up on multiple occasions, and I did sit there and actually time where I was, because we got the report, and before I presented to the planning board, I wanted to make sure that we had that something was reflective there in my own mind. I sat there with a stopwatch and watched the cars going out of Steve's, and it was the best I can do because it was the only thing that I had. So even though that there 3 o'clock wasn't a thing, but I was timing that and they were going soon,
5 PM right now, 5 PM right now. I would like to see anybody try to get from this side of town to that side of town. And it's not gonna take you 20 to 25 minutes.
I am not telling you
With
that
backed up
the
traffic.
road does not have cars on it.
It's got big
I'm telling
issues.
you that the difference between this added to it does not change the levels of service.
Did you consider the flow coming down that Broad Street, Main Street, and where it's coming from? That all flows into there? You gotta go back to the northway, okay?
So-
Let me finish. North and south. It's all commercial, all the way down through, very few houses. Now you get down to Luzerne, or Western Avenue, Thomas Street. You've got Hannaford coming in there. You've got people taking Western because it's a direct route to get to Route 9, Glens Street. They're flowing into that. You've got the car wash traffic that's already there. I don't know why we need another car wash, to be honest with you. It's 100 yards from another car wash, okay? That's my concern too, which is not part of this board, but I've lived here 35 years, and I've seen this grow and grow and grow.
To answer your question,
Yeah,
the lines that you put across the road to count the vehicles, they're done so the intersection over here,
yeah,
all right, they're done on the other side of the intersection as well as down below here.
Yeah.
So anything that is going through there, so whether they're coming off the Northway, whether they're coming from some
Oh,
side
yeah.
streets there, the point of intersection
Yeah.
is here. And that's where the raw data counts come from. So I can't tell you that 50% of them have gotten off the Northway. I can't tell you
That's
anything
not
like
telling
that.
you how
but
long they
but I can
stopped
tell you
in
how many
traffic.
are coming through here.
Okay,
that's not telling you the volume that's stopped in traffic, and the line is all the way up to and past Dunkin' Donuts and past the pool shop and out to the Northway because of all these trucks and everything else. They're going both ways. I don't care what the lines say, I'm telling you what I see, all right? It's gridlock.
They didn't put lines out.
I didn't see any lines.
They didn't put any lines out.
Can I make a comment?
They never-
Sure can.
When I first heard Hoffman was interested in the property, I'm a longtime customer of Steve's place. It's always been, generally, in the daytime, it's difficult to make a left-hand turn. So, I'm not a traffic study guy. Long before I saw the traffic study this week, long before I heard discussions by the SEALs, Mr. Palumbo today, and I mentioned it to him earlier, my first thought was, oh, Walgreens has a connecting road to Thomas Avenue.
so did I.
They should hook up to that before they go too far.
And go through. You say, I don't think they have enough room.
But
I question
I don't
that.
even think it was considered.
I really don't think we need another
This is
car
a
wash.
picture from last week.
Somebody,
I don't mean to, let me just hold on for a
Just wanted to
second.
Mrs. Seal,
Excuse me a
Mrs.
second.
Seal, just for a
Excuse me.
moment.
I'm not
One
quite
moment,
finished
please.
yet. I'd like to finish my
Okay,
thought.
yeah, I just-
Yeah.
we're beyond the public comment part of
Yeah.
it. We're just,
I apologize.
yeah,
That's
we're,
okay.
we're discussing the resolution.
I
Thank you.
apologize.
Somebody somewhere, whether it was an engineering firm, encouraged Walgreens to put that connector
Out to Thomas.
access road to Thomas. I didn't see that element in this morning when I watched the February 6th
I watched it too.
planning board meeting. That would be perhaps a better
They
place
still gotta come up
to
with a
start.
road, John.
Yeah, but at least they'll have a light.
Now we got,
It might cause problems for the residents on Thomas Street.
But it would allow the people to flow much more easy.
As I mentioned before, so I'll tell the answer that I gave. The, first off, so that does involve 2 land parties. The goal of, please let me finish. The goal of this was to show what happens, what this data says. We're confident in this data, okay? We can disagree.
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
fine.
to show that this can be done on the property here. They are in an agreement with the owner of Steve's place. That's what we were doing. As I said, we had no idea how long it could have been before corporate Walgreens would have, worked with us on that. So we proved what we believe, and the planning board agreed with it as well, that this site can work without that connection, all right? So that's why we proceeded this way. If there was some time in the future where it was not advantageous for, that anything was not working, there was new traffic considerations, would one owner go to the other? Possibly, but what we were doing is because we had no right to that property, we did not go that way. And if we had gone that way, we likely would have had to access somewhere down here, which would have meant we would have had to move the site back, and the neighbors that did come to the planning board meeting and speak were the ones from back here. And they were concerned, and we were trying to leave as much space for them. So where that access would go would be dependent on Walgreens or corporate, the owner of that. So that's one factor. And the second would be where it would go and what kind of change it would have for the site plan. And we thought that there were detrimental aspects to the site plan and the other neighbors that said, let's prove this works. We believe the traffic study does that. The planning board believed that the traffic study did that. And so that's where we are.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have a few comments to make.
Please.
First of all, I do understand that the planning board did see this, but respectfully, we are the Board of Public Safety, so we are supposed to specialize in traffic matters, which is why they're asking for our approval. So I do understand that they did pass that along and we're in favor of that. However, to continue to reference them is not necessarily the most necessary thing in that aspect. That's okay.
I understand, but also you heard a whole lot about water and sewer. You heard a whole lot about what could be done. If you were dealing with the traffic, if safety was the most important thing, we could have gotten through a lot of that much quicker, because this is what we're all talking about, is the traffic. So I respect your point, but at the same time, people were allowed to do stuff here that they did not take the opportunity to do in front of the planning board.
Well, there is something I'm concerned about there. I'm concerned about the sewer backing up in my house.
So the city's engineering department has full review of these plans, and that is for them to review.
Okay.
Respectfully, I still do have a few more comments I'd like to make.
Go ahead.
I've just been listening and writing down some things that you've specifically said. One was that at Dunkin' Donuts, like if there's not a shoulder or something, people won't back out into the road. As somebody who really likes Dunkin' Donuts and actually goes to that one quite often, I can tell you for sure that the cars do go out and it is a huge hazard. So, and I use the Hoffman's Car Wash on Quaker often. I've done the membership because it's cheap and affordable. I go there often. I've seen the backup. I understand that's a bigger street. It's a little bit more safe comparatively, but to say that if it doesn't have a shoulder, they wouldn't do that is, to be quite frank, false. And you don't have to respectfully comment that because I have a couple things and we are really running over time. I think that's something we're also not looking into is the future of Glens Falls. We are an up and coming growing city. We are rapidly growing. You can see it, there's new businesses every single day. I mean, for example, it's an older business, but Rude Betty, they're in downtown, they're huge hit now. There's a new restaurant in the downtown area where you can play board games and eat. Like there's so many different things. Park and Elm, every single year it's something new. More and more people are going to gravitate here for tourism, people to move here, for to grow families. It's a great place for kids. So the traffic is only ever going to get worse. It's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And I can certainly speak from experience growing up here and seeing the small amount of cars and how it is now. It's not like New York City, but it's certainly not like it was when I was born 25 years ago. So I think that's something that we really need to look into, especially with the downtown area as it continues to grow. We're moving into South Street, it's expanding and expanding. I would argue that it trickles down into Broad Street. Even when you go down as far as Steve's Place, yes, it's not the downtown area. However, it has that vibe. It's not like you're over by Ridge or something, like more towards Quaker. It's a different part, and I do believe that in the future it will build up, and in turn the traffic will get worse. Something else that you did say when you were talking about ratings of C or D or F, A, B, etc. for different, I guess, rating different traffic sections, like, oh, this would be an A, great success, clean streets, excellent, or F, this is a failure. Just because something right now isn't an F doesn't mean the addition of something couldn't turn it into that. So while something may be a C and not a D, adding an excess of traffic or something that would draw traffic could certainly make it digress into something that would result in failure. I also drive over there frequently. I go to Gateway Dermatology twice a week because I have vitiligo, so I have to get light therapy, and it is a nightmare. It very rarely is it not. There's a lot of people, the lights, like you said, are not in sync. It's just a tough area, and it only gets worse when we bring the school into it. All of those kids at 3:30, 3 o'clock, and then all the sport kids, 5:30, they're all walking Glens Falls. It's a walking district. It's already not the best over there. The sidewalks aren't great. There's a lot of traffic, many different stoplights. I was a kid who walked. So walking over there, I did it frequently. And it's scary sometimes. Imagine you're in middle school, you're a 12-year-old. Now you're walking in a very heavily trafficked area, and now imagine it's worse. And people are angry because they want to go home. They're frustrated, it's rush hour, and there's a line of cars because everybody wants Dunkin' and everybody wants a car wash because there's salt on every car and people don't want the rust. I understand. But there are just a lot of factors that really come into turn and into play with this. And especially with the safety of children walking, because I was one of those kids not too long ago. And it was scary enough for me when I had to walk, let alone in the future as the city continues to grow and there's more people, more vehicles. I feel like it could be a disaster waiting to happen, and the last thing we need is to be on the national news for a child getting hit and killed, because the traffic is just terrible.
Very well said.
Just
Thank
for
you.
reference, a traffic study does include the background growth of traffic, future conditions without even the Hoffmans being involved. Standard traffic methodology is to do a percentage growth rate for the background growth. So if nothing happens there, and there is going to be increased volume, as you're saying, because there is growth, that's factored into the data calculations. And then it's projected in a no-build situation to show what those impacts will be on the intersection before we're added into it.
I do understand, but I think that in that area there's already some serious issues with the traffic laws. It's certainly not even close to a complete street. I mean, I've taken the complete street, like the training courses and everything. I'm really familiar, especially for somebody who's only 25. So I am very familiar with what you're saying. However, I think there's already a lot of things that could be improved in that area. It's certainly not even close to a complete street by the books, and to add anything more in general would just push it over the edge, in my opinion.
Any other commissioner like to comment?
I have a question. I didn't see in the report a provision for dealing with congestion blockage of the road, blocking ambulances going eastward towards the hospital. And as you know, all the North Country people, they get off at exit 18 with their ambulances, they head to the hospital. So an ambulance encountering traffic, congestion, stopped cars, can take the center lane. It's a three-lane highway. But if people are stopped westbound in the center lane, waiting to turn left across oncoming traffic, which itself is stopped probably because it's a warm day and they want to get their cars clean. So if people are stopped in the left turn lane and people are stopped in the westbound lane and the eastbound lane is blocked with cars waiting to get in the car wash, we have not exactly gridlock, but you have an impassable situation for the ambulance. Maybe it's in the report somewhere. How do you address that?
So the general standards, and I apologize for this, because if I had known that this was the course of where we were going to go, I would have, we were just communicating earlier this week in terms of that we were on and the agenda and the meeting was happening. So unfortunately, I was not able to have the representative who did the traffic study. I'm sure she would be able to answer that question fully. The fact of the matter is that when you have situations where the levels of service are in this, I don't disagree that, well, what happens if that car, there are a couple cars that are at the intersection left, and so we're not even here, right? That situation that you're describing could already be taking place.
I think it's incumbent upon you folks to provide that. even
I
before
I drew a crude diagram to show you what I'm talking about.
We'll talk with the traffic engineer to see how we applied the factors in there. I don't know it well enough to know exactly how that
I
was.
prepared a crude diagram to show the concern I have, so if you want to show it to your engineer, that's fine.
I agree. Make sure it's there.
You didn't say it.
We'll talk further with the ambulance people. But the assumption that you have with your crude diagram is that those cars could not move out of the way.
Where would they
Correct.
go?
Well, they move forward and get out of the way. That's what I would do if I was driving, you know.
But what if there's no shoulder? I mean, are you?
No, I'm saying, the way that this is here, you're assuming that the cars have blocked this intersection, but they would have every ability to turn their cars and get up and move over as far as they can. I mean, it's what we were all trained to do in terms of when an ambulance is coming. I'm not saying that it happens. There are situations, I'm sure, that occur where they can't, because somebody is, you know, actually gridlocked an intersection. But this diagram, I'm just going by your diagram, if the ambulance was coming in this direction, I don't think that they, would sit there. I think that they would move up and out of the way.
Well, the fire chief is here. Chief, has that been your experience?
As a person who drove an ambulance and a fire truck, they don't always do what they're supposed to do.
I'm sure.
Mr.
Thank you.
Palumbo, I drove on the thruway, okay, for a long time for the state police off the Tappan Zee Bridge, trying to get through to a serious accident. When people are going home at night, forget it. There's no place to go.
Knowing the
This
traffic
is,
down there.
this is really
And
flawed.
And again, in all honesty, I mean, we're here as a board of public safety, period. In my opinion, speaking as a commissioner on this board, meaning no disrespect at all to anybody who's trying to make this happen. And I do not know Mr. and Mrs. Steele. I do not even know if I'm pronouncing their name correctly. And as a customer of Hoffman, I just honestly, safety-wise, I don't believe this is a good idea. My own opinion.
Well,
It's up to everybody else. That is my opinion.
I'm going to say, you've obviously already said and made some determinations. So when another firm does a review of this, if that's where you're going to go, which is going to slow down the closing with the owner. So you do that, you send it out, and that's for, someone to take care of in as quick a fashion as possible. And if they come back and say things that,
I still am gonna feel the same way.
so then I guess I'm saying,
I still feel the same way. I would say this is not a safe issue, but I would just like
so then I guess
the option
that's
to
where
look
I'm
at
saying,
another
is like
review.
there's aspersions cast on how this was done and that it's not done
That
accurately.
was not from me, sir.
Well, but
And
the dialogue has come from both sides.
No, it's not.
If you go and get it reviewed and you're still gonna have that opinion, then why are we going and getting it reviewed?
I take offense that you're inferring.
You just,
I
you just
take
said it.
offense.
I mean, you
I
just
take
said it.
offense that you're inferring that.
Yeah.
I did not say that. What I'm saying is, I want to see another review, but I believe this is not safe right now. Before us right now, this is not safe.
And we're not here so you can have your closing, okay? That has no bearing. We don't, to tell us we are responsible for you not being able to close, that's another slap at the Board of Public Safety,
Yeah.
okay? And I resent it.
And my only statement is, why wasn't that access road that Thomas considered? You then have a traffic study based on the traffic needs to turn left You'd have to talk to the people on Thomas Street. They could exit that access road, and they'd hit a light, they'd get a light, it would be congested, but it would certainly impact a traffic study. Somebody, either Walgreens or their engineers or somebody, put that access road in for a reason. I don't think we should ignore
For another business.
whatever the reason was, for safety reasons. Because I don't like pulling out of Steve's and turning left. And I won't make the turn on Luzerne. It's about a 130-degree turn.
But yeah, they've got other pads in there for other businesses if they wanted to get in there. I think that's why they put that road in.
I don't know.
Well, I think they could come around the back end of it, potentially. And you could change your traffic pattern. I'm not a site planner. I'm not a
Yeah.
traffic study guy, but if you have one healthcare and a business with an access road directly leading to a stoplight, why wouldn't they consider extending that access road on the outer perimeter of the property and use that as an exit for cars that want to turn left onto?
It makes perfect sense
Yeah.
to me, but,
Yeah.
I mean, they could then go right or left. You could go right to the
But
light
the
or
owner may want
left,
to put a business there.
unless somebody
That's
else
the other issue.
had
I just
other
think it's
plans.
already very congested. If there's gonna be any new additions,
Mhm.
it
It
should
is.
definitely
Gonna
be
be
past the
congested.
overpass further down.
I agree.
So here's the options before you. You can vote to favorably or unfavorably report back to the planning board now, or you could request a peer review of the traffic study that was done. And I'm not saying, excuse me, have another company do it. I know that Aaron Frankenfeld at the AGFTC, which is actually our local transportation council, could review that for us, so it's unbiased, it's not another company or anything like that. And you would have to table this resolution in order to do that. So you can either act on it, or you can table it and refer it back to the planning board to have a peer review.
Can they include that access road? At least explore that access road.
I
I think they would just act on the report.
Yeah,
that's
'cause
already
that-
done, and they would probably have that before the next month's meeting.
Yeah.
They're just gonna say, yeah, this is good, or it's not. They're just gonna say.
See,
this-
and again, we're not, our job isn't to talk about the planning of it in the location, but those
I'm thinking of
comments
safety pulling out
for the safety part.
left-hand
And
turn.
if you want to table it and refer it back and get a peer review done on it with those items that you'd like to have looked at, ambulances or another route off the property.
Mr. Chairman, just to, because I don't know the full rationale of, or the process, right? So I'm asking this as a, so, as you just said, if you do, and obviously if it was voted in favor, which I don't think is happening, so I'm not gonna, but if it was voted down, then it goes back to the planning board.
Right.
And then I'm gonna ask when the next planning board meeting is.
The next one would be, it's the first Tuesday of April. would be
Okay.
the next one.
So the, if, I guess what I'm asking is if
It's a
the,
waste of time.
if the board is
We've already
inclined that,
It doesn't alleviate
they're
anything.
not gonna be in favor of it, you know, at all, then we go back to the planning board, and then the question is, what is the process with the planning board?
It really would depend on what the planning board wanted to do with it. I know based on, in the past, because the issue with the quorum the last month, I know that the planning board thought about changing the conditional approval to having the police department and the fire chief sign off on it, based on if there was gonna be issues with quorums with Board of Public Safety. So, and I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I think it would really be the planning board's decision as to what they would wanna do to move forward. They asked for a favorable opinion from the Board of Public
They answered
Safety.
it favorable already, yeah.
Right, they did, but I don't know how that works, cause I don't necessarily know if they had to send it here by process.
That's my question.
I don't think they, yeah, I don't
They
believe
did.
they, yeah.
Mr. Landry,
sure.
do we have, do we have a leg to stand on? Who is,
Well, here's where we
who
are.
is what here?
Right.
They- well, they did discuss-
You have two options before you. If your questions that you've had here are relative to the house, or the traffic study that's been done, then you could always ask for, like I say, a peer review of it to make sure that somebody else puts some eyes on this thing and determines whether that traffic study is proper or not, and then it would come back to you for either a favorable or an unfavorable opinion. If you don't want to do that and you want to act on it tonight, you can act on it by either making a motion to favorably or unfavorably refer this thing back to the planning board based on your decision here tonight. You have those two.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we report to the planning board that we do not view this favorably, and we recommend that this not go through.
Okay,
I second that.
you got a
Now,
second?
wait just a minute,
Just go ahead.
but can we have this all typed up so that the planning board sees exactly the questions we all raised, that we just didn't arbitrarily make this decision? In all fairness, I'd like them to have that in hand so they can see for themselves, all right?
Bob, just a suggestion where this is videotaped.
Right.
Anybody
I can
from the
refer
planning
it to
board
them.
can
Yeah,
participate.
I can
okay.
refer it to them to watch it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, and you can,
It'll be on perpetuity.
all right.
yeah,
Well,
and
I'd
you
like to-
can, and you can make that as part of your.
Yeah, I'd like to amend my motion to refer to a belief that this will unfavorably impact ambulance access to the hospital and also unfavorably impact the traffic into the city of Glens Falls.
Okay. And we have a second?
I second it,
We have a
yes.
second to that. Okay.
Yes.
Any other discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the
Mr.
motion
Palumbo,
carries.
please don't take it personally. Please don't take it personally. We're just doing our job as you're doing yours. Thank
So the
you.
motion is
Thank
carried.
you.
The
We
plan-
can disagree.
The Public Safety Board is unanimous on this.
Yes.
Right.
It's in the notes, right?
Okay.
Yep, yep, it'll go to them.
Okay.
It might help if with the video, because it's such a long thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
give like
yeah.
a window of
Oh,
time,
yeah.
like from
Oh,
40
yeah.
minutes
That's
and
good.
38 seconds
Nobody's
to,
gonna watch
Yeah.
it.
well,
Yeah.
it might help to keep it up as well, because if it's long, I feel like it's a deterrent for them to watch. But there were definitely valid concerns.
I move,
Okay, move along. Okay, resolution number 7 to approve second annual Brooks Chicken Dinner fundraiser hosted by the Glens Falls Kiwanis Club to be held at Eastfield Sports Complex on Saturday, April 20th, 2024, from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Vehicles will pull into the Eastfield parking lot to pick up takeaway chicken dinners that will be prepared on site. Volunteers will monitor traffic, and traffic cones will be placed for the safety of volunteers and vehicles. The event will be confined to the parking lot area only.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. All right, resolution number 8, resolution to approve the annual Glens Falls Collaborative Pet Fest to be held on May 19, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. in City Park, and also requests the closing of Maple Street between Ridge and Bay Street for the duration of the event, as well as DPW assistance will refuse with, the DPW will assist with refuse receptacles and power being turned on at the bandstand. Motion.
Mr. Chairman, no,
Oh,
first,
question.
I would ask that the Glens Falls Collaborative, when they submit to us an application, that they describe to us what they're asking for. In this and each of the subsequent applications, they've indicated that it's a community event. They need the city park, the gazebo, and some city streets. Well, what are you doing?
It says Wingfest,
It says that here.
yeah,
It doesn't say that in their application.
yeah,
So I've asked,
Yeah, let me talk to him.
that makes sense.
Chip about it, if he would please address it. And I called him beforehand because all of them were the same. And just if they could please do that. In every subsequent one, it's the same thing, so.
You'll take care of that.
Yes, he
Thank
did. He did already. Thank you.
Any other discussion on that resolution?
No,
If not, do I have a motion?
make a motion.
Second? Mike?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 9 to approve the annual Glens Falls Collaborative Wing Fest to be held on April 27th. Is that the same? No.
No, we used
It
to.
That was
doesn't-
Pet Fest.
Pet
That
Fest.
was Wing
Yeah,
Fest.
yeah, all the
Oh,
fests.
yeah,
They're
Wing
both
Fest.
so much.
Resolution to approve
Can't
the
eat them
annual Glens Falls Collaborative Wing Fest to be held on April 27, 2024, from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. in City Park, and also request the closing of Maple Street between Ridge and Bay Streets for the duration of the event, as well as DPW assistance with refuge receptacles and power being turned on at the bandstand. The collaborative is also requesting the Common Council to waive the city's open container law during the hours of 12 noon to 3 p.m. with a favorable opinion from the Board of Public Safety, as was done last year. Discussion.
I'll move it.
Mike? Bob? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10, resolution to retroactively approve the annual Glens Falls Collaborative Restaurant Week to be held the week of March 3rd through March 9th, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the city, mostly but not entirely, to be held along downtown Glen Street, Ridge Street, and Maple Street Square, and I understand that was a successful event as well. Discussion? Motion? Second?
Second.
Mike? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 11, to approve the annual Glens Falls Collaborative Blue to You community event to be held on October 26, 2024, from 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. in City Park, and also request the closing of Maple Street between Ridge and Bay Streets and Glen Street between Centennial Circle and the Monument for the duration of the event. They are also requesting DPW assistance with refuge receptacles and power being turned on at the bandstand. The event director estimates attendance to be about 3,000 people. Discussion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, resolution to approve annual Glens Falls Collaborative Take a Bite event to be held downtown every Wednesday evening beginning on July 10th and running through August 14, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in City Park, and also requesting the closing of Maple Street between Ridge and Bay Streets, and Glen Street between Centennial Circle and the Monument during event times, as well as DPW assistance with refuge receptacles, extra picnic tables, and power being turned on at the bandstand. The collaborative is expecting approximately 1,000 people an evening. Discussion?
I'll move that.
Moved by Mike,
I'll second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 13, resolution to approve the annual Ascend Mental Wellness Chalk the Walk to be held on May 29, 2024 in City Park. Participants will be using colored chalk to decorate the sidewalks around City Park, over to Glen Street and back down Lavin Place to Ridge Street to highlight mental illness. The event directors will also require use of bandstand and electricity. The event will be confined to the park and no road closures are requested. 100+ people are expected to attend. Discussion.
I'll move it.
Moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 14, resolution to approve 2024 Pride Festival hosted by Lower Adirondack Pride, the Bridge, to be held on Saturday, June 1st from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., Sunday, June 2nd, 2024 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in City Park. Festivities will include a movie night, festival, and parade. The proposed parade route is highlighted on an included map to your packet. The event holder is also requesting the partial closure of Lapham Place and Maple Street from 5 p.m. on June 1st through 6 p.m. on June 2nd. An agenda and safety plan is included in the packet.
Can I add something here?
Yes.
They had added a request for open container later on, that's in the packet that goes on there.
Okay, yep, I see that.
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed the application and I did discuss with Chip earlier today that the time on the application and the time on our agenda are not correct. And also, I object to alcohol being a part of this event.
I would agree with that.
And without food and anything, I reject it too. For
And
the
also,
alcohol.
isn't there a noise ordinance? Like, is
The
that,
event's only actually until 10, but they're allowing them to 11 in order to pick up.
To close it down.
so they
10.
won't be,
No.
okay.
What about the fire chief, is he all Lapham Place, they wanna close?
I was concerned, they claim they're going to only do half of it, but it's not very wide to begin with.
Yeah, it's close from the.
It's only as big as the apparatus.
I'm sorry?
It would only be as big as the apparatus, the street as it is already, so if they make half, it's still not gonna fit.
You don't have an objection if they partially close it for 2 days?
As long as they make entry for us if we need to use it in an
Right.
emergency situation.
Chief, do you have an objection to
Yeah,
that?
they closed down, other events have closed down.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
thanks.
You want to address the
So then we're not
alcohol?
approving alcohol, is that the case?
Yeah,
I would request
Approve
we-
the event without the alcohol.
Okay.
And the correct times are what is listed in
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's,
agenda?
I updated it, I don't know the papers, I thought I changed
Yeah,
it.
thank
They
you.
put that in last year and he changed it.
The correct
He was
times are
supposed to be
on the
here.
agenda.
this is the right time.
Yes, the agenda, not the application.
All right,
Thank you.
so,
Any other discussion?
I make a motion that we approve the times that are listed, Saturday, June 1st, from 5 PM until 11 PM. From 10 PM to 11 PM is for tear down only, pick up and tear down. And then Sunday, June 2nd, from 6 AM to 6 PM in City Park. And also, I would ask that we disapprove the request for alcohol. So do we
As
want
part
to
of
do
your
two
motion.
separate,
right,
No, it'll go all in one.
all in one?
okay,
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Great. 15, resolution to approve the second annual Aloha 5K and Fun Family Walk sponsored by the Glens Hospital to be held on June 15, 2024 at Havlet's Cove from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. The runners and walkers will be confined to the park area and the Peter Canal walking path, and they are requesting use of the pavilion along with DPW support for extra trash barrels. The event organizer is expecting 300 participants.
I'll move that.
We've had it before. I'll second it.
Second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 16, resolution to approve the 2024 Warren Memorial Day Run to be held on May 27, 2024 at 9:50 a.m., between 9:50 a.m. and 10 a.m. The runners will be ahead and start 10 minutes before the Memorial Day Parade commences up Glen Street and will use the same route as the parade, ending at the memorial. The event organizer expected 120 participants and are requesting one Glens Falls Police Department cruiser to precede them as they run.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Second by, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 17, resolution to approve a walk for the Children's Miracle Network sponsored by Ace Hardware to be held on June 29, 2024 between 8 a.m. and 12 noon. The walk will commence at the Crandall Library and proceed to Crandall Park and back.
Mr. Landry, I would like to commend Ace Hardware Retail Support Center. This is the most complete packet I think we've ever received. It's in detail, it's beautifully done, and I'll make
Probably
a
done by some
motion
attorney.
to approve it.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I asked for a safety
Approve
plan,
that
she
twice.
said that.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I make that motion to approve.
Motion, second by Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 18, resolution to approve the Zonta Club Annual Craft Fair to be held May 11th and May 12th, 2024 in City Park between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. The event organizer is asking for restrictions on Maple Street from 6:30 a.m. through 9:30 a.m. on Saturday the 11th to allow vendors to unload merchandise and for staging of 2 food trucks along the park side of the street during the event with no need for a road closure. The organizer would also like to use the bandstand and electricity.
I'll move that.
So the Zontas, they used to do it with Lyra.
No longer?
They're doing it separate, right?
Yeah, I think they've been doing it separate for a
This
bit.
will be
Yeah.
this will be the third year, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're.
I'll second that.
I think you're right. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 19, resolution to approve the 2024 Larac Art Festival to be held on June 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2024 in City Park and in a manner consistent with previous years. The festival would like to close Maple Street between Bay and Ridge Street beginning on June 7th, 2024 at 3 p.m. and maintaining the road closure until Sunday, June 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Larac will be requesting that the city supply electricity at the bandstand and the usual dumpster plus picnic tables and extra trash receptacles.
I would approve this with the mention that they must have somebody manning both ends to remove barricades
Barricades.
if need be.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they always do.
They're,
Yep.
yeah, manning those barricades.
Yep.
Okay. Motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 20, resolution to approve the second annual LARAC Under 40 Arts Festival to be held on Saturday, August 3rd, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in City Park. LARAC would like to reserve parking spots on Maple Street on the park side for food truck vendors and have the electricity turned on in the bandstand for the event. This is a new, smaller event that was inaugurated in 2023 and was well attended.
I'll make that motion with the same stipulation.
Same stipulation as the previous motion. Okay,
I'll second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 21, resolution to approve the first annual St. Mary's Social Justice Ministry Interfaith Climate Walk. I think that's what Diane Collins spoke to us about. To be held on Saturday, May 18, 2024, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. The group will walk from City Park to Crandall Park, where there will be speakers and presentations on climate awareness. The group will have volunteers stationed at the crosswalks along Glen Street leading to the park. If I remember correctly, Commissioner Alden, didn't you say to her you wanted it at every street, not at every
Yes,
crosswalk?
she needs a volunteer at every street crossing. There needs to be a volunteer there
Right,
Right, not the cross.
with a
not
flag.
just where there's crosswalks.
No,
Right.
no.
Okay,
with
so
a-
that will be part of,
Yes,
somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion, second?
I'll second that.
Second. As amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution to approve the second annual Drop the Gloves with ALS Charity Hockey Tournament to be held from 1 p.m. Friday, April 5th, 2024 through Sunday, 11 a.m., April 7th, 2024 at the Glens Recreation Center. The group will be using the ice at the Recreation Center on Fire Road and will not leave the confines of the building or parking lot. Food and beverages, including alcoholic beverages, will be offered for attendees. The event held last year was successful and there were no issues reported. Discussion? No?
I move approval.
Motion?
I'll second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Resolution 23, resolution to approve the Park Theater Summer Series concert to be held on Friday nights from June 28, 2024 through August 2nd, 2024 between the hours of 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. The series requires the use of the clamshell at Crandall Park. I didn't realize I called it that.
I didn't either.
And the power for the stage. The food vendors will be on hand, and the event director expects between 100 and 250 concert goers per evening performance. Discussion.
I do have an update on the insurance, which had expired, would be expiring beforehand, and they will get us, provide us with an updated certificate. So they have to wait for the renewal date to upgrade us. So I do have that letter, if anybody would like to see it. Now you can thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
Stretched out.
Pardon me? I know,
He had that
you're
thing
rubbing
out
off
for
on
20
me.
She's not only very tan, she's pretty smart. All right, any more discussion?
The other one, he's good too, he's got the.
Yeah. Any more discussion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion?
Are you working for him?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 24, to approve the annual Earth Day celebration to be held in City Park on April 20, 2024 between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The event director requests use of the bandstand and its electricity, plus additional picnic tables and trash receptacles. There is no certificate of insurance attached, as this is a city-sponsored event and will be covered under the city's blanket insurance liability policy. Discussion.
Make a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 25, I've been really good with my Roman numerals today.
I'm impressed by it. You really are.
They throw you a curve. Resolution to approve the Neighbors on Lincoln Avenue in Crandall Block Party to celebrate school graduations to be held on Saturday, May 25th, 2024 between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. between Lincoln and Coolidge Avenues on Crandall Street. Volunteers will erect barricades and man them for safety during the event, ensuring that there is ample room for emergency services if needed. Discussion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any new business? No.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Okay.
Old business.
Old business.
No, excuse me,
Close the holder or something.
Mr. Landry, old business is going to be into our April meeting, I believe.
Right. Do we have to make a motion to move it to that?
No.
You don't have to.
No. You're good.
All right. And that includes all the below.
So then
Through
we'll
But
just-
we do
then we'll
need
just
to
go
do,
there.
Right there,
yes,
got it.
the chief's
Alrighty.
reports.
Yeah, no, the chief.
Chief Smith, you've been here for a while. What do you think? You'd like to give us a
I
report?
don't have anything new. I forwarded my report.
You did?
Yes.
Unless you have any questions.
No,
No, sir.
Okay.
I'll make a motion,
Well,
we
we gotta
accept,
approve
We gotta make a motion.
make a motion, we accept Chief Smith's
Second.
report.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chief Motors, you wanted to defer?
And the same,
Yep.
deferred to my reports that I've given for the past couple of months, but I would like to request a session.
Okay,
Okay.
make a motion, we accept Deputy Chief Motors.
I'll second.
oh,
Now, you've requested an executive session?
Yes, he did.
Are we gonna be
Okay.
doing any resolutions? No?
No.
Perfect.
So we can we adjourn now and then go into the?
So
No,
I'll
no,
make a
no,
motion.
No,
Two.
first we need to approve this
we gotta
one.
approve his.
We need to approve
Oh,
this
that's
one.
right, I'm sorry.
You just approved his report.
Yeah,
You
we-
guys just
I
made a
thought we
motion.
did.
You're
I
good.
made a motion and it was
He
seconded.
Yep.
We all
Yep.
said,
So we just
All in
need to
favor?
make a motion for executive session
Right.
in, out, and adjourn, and then you can.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
First, we need to approve this report.
we all got it.
He didn't make the motion to approve his report.
The
Chief
chief?
Motor? Yeah, you did. Yeah, I
We
just
made
wrote
the
it.
motion, but we didn't vote all on it.
Oh,
Oh, okay,
all
right.
eyes. Oh, okay.
Do you have a second?
I already got
We
it.
got it.
Yeah, that's,
All in favor?
yeah, there you go.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Now I make a motion that we go into executive session.
I'll second it.
And out,
The same people will bring
Out will
us
be
out.
the same people,
and then adjournment.
Yes.
same people.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
To the general
Thank
public who
you.
came tonight, thank you very much for your.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you guys for listening to us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very respectful.
Yeah, all done, Peter. You're golden.
Are we out, Peter? Thank you.